Stop being so sensitive. Have you ever been told this before? If you identify yourself as a deep thinker, someone who feels things very intensely, more than other people, then you're probably part of the 15 to 20% of people who are highly sensitive people. Highly sensitive people are really misunderstood in this society. In a world of stimulation, of social media, consumerism, materialism, all of that, it seems that the deeper internal world of highly sensitive people really doesn't fit within that society, within those societal bounds. Who are the highly sensitive people? The highly sensitive people are people who are deeply attuned to physical, social, or emotional stimuli around them. And they have a really deep emotional life, a life that's really full of meaning and of depth of emotion. In other words, highly sensitive people are people who feel a greater range of emotions. You know, the highs are higher, the lows are lower, and they can feel more than the average person with a smaller amount of stimuli. So for example, some people, they go to the park to hang out, party, and drink. It's like, no, the highly sensitive person can just go there and enjoy themselves, if that makes any sense, because the stimuli of nature itself is enough for them to feel something. Now let's get into the signs. Sign number one that you're a highly sensitive person is emotional intensity. You feel everything stronger than everyone else. Joy, sadness, grief, sorrow, euphoria, excitement, anger, melancholia, existential crisis. Those words, those subtle nuances of sadness, for example, they all make sense to you. And something interesting with emotional intensity, at least in my case, it's sometimes you will cry of joy. You know, not only cry of sadness. And it's strange to me, some people who have never cried of joy, and they think when you're crying that you're necessarily sad. Well, that's not the case for highly sensitive people. Sometimes it's just a sort of, because emotions can be so complex, sometimes with joy can come a little bit of sadness. And this sort of emotional complexity is hard to process for someone that isn't highly sensitive. For example, I remember I finished one of my montages, and after I finished the video, it's like I almost cried of joy. I was so happy that I made this video, and I felt so proud of myself. And it would be a bit strange, I think, for most people that they do something that they're proud of and they just feel proud, that's it. Me, I have this sort of emotional intensity attached to my work. Another example is I was at a meditation retreat and a dragonfly landed on my shoulder. It was the most euphoric experience not of my life, but the most euphoric experience I've had, on the top 10 best experiences in my life. Just this dragonfly landing on my shoulder. How amazing would that be? Because I was so attuned to the present moment, I was so attuned to nature at that moment. Funnily enough, I've done MDMA a very long time ago. And some people, the guy who gave it to me said, yeah, dude, MDMA is like the happiest day of your whole fucking life when you take it. So I took it and I was like, okay, well, it feels good, but I could feel that way without drugs. I could feel great like that without drugs because of my high emotional attunement to things. I can generate that exact same joy without taking drugs, and it's been the case for me. I've gone to a rave recently, didn't drink a single thing, didn't take any drugs, and I felt like euphoric beyond anything else. I don't know how, but it seems like highly sensitive people, they can get attuned to those good emotions. Sign number two that you're a highly sensitive person is sensory overload. Your senses are overloaded. You go walk down a busy street, there's lights, bright lights, cars honking, homeless people screaming at you, a bunch of things going on, drunk people, falling on the floor if you're walking down at night. Maybe you walk into a noisy nightclub, and to you it's like, fuck man, this is too much for me. And this sort of sensory overload can become very, very draining, where because your senses pick up on every single thing, times 10. For example, in my case, I can hear sounds that some people don't hear. I can smell things other people don't smell. And it's like my girlfriend, she says, you have a bionicle nose, super powerful ears, or because you hear, smell things that literally I can't hear. Not only that, but you get overloaded even by things like caffeine, alcohol, drugs, all of those things. You require a much smaller dose than other people because of your sensory overload. At my previous job, people were just drinking monsters left and right, and I was like, what the fuck, this is like, if I did that, I'd probably be out of fucking hospital. Sign number 3 of a highly sensitive person is empathetic overdrive. Empathy overdrive. You feel so much empathy for others. Sometimes you understand their emotions even better than they understand their own emotion. Being a highly sensitive person, I can smell that anger, I can smell that emotion from you, even if you're in the other room. You walk into a room and sometimes you just feel uneasy. You don't know why. And you know that there's like this anger in the room, or there's this sort of negative emotion, and you can kind of sense that it's coming from someone else. It's like the barrier between you and the other person melts. It's like sometimes you're not even sure if it's your emotion or theirs. So for example, if someone is very angry, very sad, or very happy, you're going to feel this emotion like back at you, and then you might just process it like, oh, okay, well, I'm feeling sad. Why am I feeling sad? Like it makes no sense. And you're going to think that you're actually sad, but no, it's their emotion. A pro tip here, if you're dealing with this, is get out of the room, get out of this space, and see if you feel better. If you do feel better, it was probably their emotion, not yours. Sign number 4 of an HSP, highly sensitive person, is that you need more alone time. Most highly sensitive people are introverted, not all, but even if you are extroverted, you will see that being incredibly attuned to other people's emotions, it can be quite draining. Even the sensory overload, and you need time away from all the stimulation, whether it be environmental or social, to recharge and really be at a place where there's no stimulation. So what alone time does to HSPs is that it helps you to recharge, it helps you with emotional processing. Maybe you've gone through something, or this person was quite overwhelming, so then you can sort of process the emotion and the thought about it. It helps you to set boundaries in a way, because alone time is your time. And really to reduce overwhelm overall. If you're overwhelmed by too much going on, by retreating to a safe place where you are by yourself, you only have yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and it allows you to recenter so that you can go back out again into the world with more clarity. Sign number 5 of being an HSP is high attention to detail. Because of your heightened sense of awareness, you pick up on little things that other people don't pick up on. Be a person with a certain facial expression, and now you almost like, you know the whole story about that person just by that little frown they made. Or this thorough processing that highly sensitive people have makes it so that it's impossible for them to just be content skimming the surface. They want to go deep. You see something, you see a work of art, and you want to go deep into it. You want to see the meaning behind it. If you talk to someone, you want to know, their deepest secrets. You want to get to know them. Maybe that's just me, but I want to get a deep connection with that person. HSPs often will pick up things that other people don't pick up, and they'll even notice subtle differences in the environment that someone else won't notice. Maybe you notice, for example, that something has been moved, or you walk into a room where you feel like, okay, well, the energy is different. What's been going on? Oh, this new guy is walked in. Oh, this new person, this new employee is now there. Now you see the shift in energy. Maybe you see people interact differently than usual, and you can sense a tension between, let's say, two people who are fighting, or being passive aggressive. Sign number 6 of a highly sensitive person is overthinking and worrying. They want to see it through the end. They think about something, but they're not going to think about just the thing right now. They're going to extrapolate everything that correlates to that thing. So for example, it's impossible to only just think about goals for tomorrow or goals for next week. Me, I'm thinking about how this goal will relate from 1 year from now, 10 years from now, how this action will snowball into something else, or if I say the wrong thing, how will that lead to, ruining my life or my career? And it's like always seeing the future or how it relates to the past, and you make all of these connections in your head. Not only that, but having very strong emotional reactions or having very strong emotions, what that does is that it simply amplifies the thoughts even more. This sort of overthinking and worrying leads to perfectionism in highly sensitive people, but also that can lead you to burnout because you can't live up to those expectations in your head. HSPs are more likely to burn out because of the sensory overload around it. Sign number 7 that you're a highly sensitive person is that you are a creative soul. You are creative. Now, because of the high emotional attunement, love of beauty, and this sort of appreciation of aesthetics, they can be much more creative because of their deep introspection and their deep vision of the world and their philosophy and their existentialism and whatever surrounds their beliefs. This allows them to go much deeper into their art, much deeper into their creativity because of the unique way that they see the world. If you're an HSP, you see the world differently from others. Sign number 8 that you're a highly sensitive person is that you have a deep connection with nature. It's very simple. You walk in nature and you feel like this sense of rejuvenation, of connection. Personally, me, whenever I feel down, I just go for a walk. Go for a walk near the nearest park near my home, and it always rejuvenates me. Even if I'm depressed and I'm going through the worst of hell, anytime I walk, I've never regretted going for a walk in nature ever. Sign number 9 that you're a highly sensitive person is that you dislike conflict. If you tend to be easily drained by conflict, you want to walk away from them, you want to disengage, then that might be because you are highly sensitive to it. When, let's say, someone is arguing with me, someone is toxic with me, I have literally zero tolerance policy to toxicity because it is so draining. I have one of my friends who, we used to play this shooter together, and then he would just scream at me because, I don't know, I wouldn't get along in the game. And then I just told him, dude, you can't scream at me ever like that ever again. That's just who I am. I react very badly to people screaming. Also, it's just a fucking game. So even if it's just a game, you're not allowed to scream at me. Someone like raising their voice against me is a complete no-go. I tell them, no, listen, you don't talk to me that way because it makes me feel terrible. In fact, you can't even raise your voice 1% ever when you talk to me. That's a bit extreme, I understand, maybe for some people, but if you're an HSP, consider setting a boundary like that because conflict is so goddamn draining. And you want peace, most likely, if you're an HSP. So that's the best way to set it, is just when you see conflict, set a boundary and move on. Also, not only with conflict, but even with criticism. Highly sensitive people have trouble with criticism. For example, me, I tend to want to withdraw, let's say if the criticism is too much, and often criticism is not 100% constructive. Sometimes it's maybe 10% constructive and 90% of it is sort of insulting or attacking. I try to get the negative 10% and that, just disengage. Go for a walk, do something else. You sort of clear my mind because I can't be thinking straight when I'm overwhelmed with those negative emotions. Sign number 10 that you are a HSP is that you have physical reactions to stress. So there's a term that they call psychosomatic. Psychosomatic meaning originating from the mind. If you have symptoms in your life that are psychosomatic, it means that stress has caused this physical pain. So for example, in my case, I had repetitive strain injury on my forearms because of the stress in my life. I've had ulcers when I was in high school, stomach pains, I had to take a medication for my acid reflux, and all of this was caused, there were no apparent reasons. I went to the doctor who put the camera in my stomach to see what was going on. I asked him, hey, so why did I get an ulcer? What causes ulcers? And just start laughing. He's like, there's no reason for ulcers. It just tends to happen if you're, highly performant person who perfectionistic. But that gave me this sort of sense of enlightenment, oh shit. I'm creating this illness because I'm stressed out. Bonus sign number 11 that you're an HSP is that you need meaning and purpose in your life. It's a non-negotiable. Most people, they can go through life, go through a boring 9-to-5 job or whatever job they have, office job, get drained, get a bit numbed out from it, and then they go back home and they watch Netflix, play video games, and that's their life. Not you. You could not be happy doing that. You need some sort of meaning. You need to know that your actions matter in the world because your depth of processing, your depth of thought, your depth of emotions, it needs to reflect in your everyday life or else you're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable if you work somewhere that doesn't bring meaning to you, or if you don't care about that. You need other avenues in your life that will bring that meaning and purpose. It can be a hobby, it doesn't have to be a career, but you really need that sense of purpose, otherwise you will not be happy, period. That's kind of a harsh truth I had to realize. It's like me, I realize I can't be happy unless I'm doing something that's truly meaningful to me, right? which is why I'm still shooting videos 10 fucking years later. And I've thought about giving up many times. Even my last video, I told you, hey, I might not continue Nameless forever. But I always go back to my purpose. I don't know what it is, but I just can't see myself living, a life that's not deep. I can't see myself living a life with, no philosophy, no psychology, no deep topics. I'd be miserable if I didn't live up to my dreams, if I didn't live up to my expectations, what I want to do with my life. It's like, what the fuck is the point of living if it's not going to be a fun, deep, exciting life that I'm passionate about? Like, it makes no fucking sense. Like, that's great. Do you relate with me? Do you relate with me? Like, this is, I think, the number one thing that we need as HSPs is our purpose. Because if we don't have it, then we're going to be miserable. In conclusion, if you have most of those signs, then you're probably a highly sensitive person. And if you're feeling lost in your life, if you agreed, if you relate with the last point I made about purpose, make sure you click here to watch this free training that I made on how to stop feeling lost in your 20s and 30s, and I'll see you there.